Mama said life was like a box of chocolate. Never know what you're going to get. Just like Framber Valdez, who would have known that he would give up the 3 home runs and then 7 runs in the 5th inning? He doesn't normally do that. Maybe I'll have to ask Jen A why he did that. But we'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Astros. You can find me on basically everywhere, but you can find the show at Locked On Astros. You can find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse, and you can find him off tonight, but he'll be back tomorrow night. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. And guys, have you seen Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the best way to play fantasy baseball. And if you did the more on Framber Valdez pitching a good game in this game, well, you might not have won tonight. But if you did the Angels hitting a whole bunch of home runs, well, certain players, I guess, you might have done well. But this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code all lowercase, Locked On MLB for the first deposit match up to $100. And thank you for making us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We're your team every day. Become an everydayer. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a big fat thumbs up while you're at it. And go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros postcast as well. He does a great job after every game, win or lose. And the Astros are going to lose some games. Even when they have the best team that wins the World Series, they're going to lose some games. And it just so happens they're coming off this great streak where they're 6-1 at home, and they look like they're rolling 6-1, and then they're up 6-1 in this game, ironically. And Framber Valdez in the 5th inning, he did something that he has not done this year. First of all, he gave up a home run to a lefty. This is he's only given up 2 extra base hits to lefty all season, and he did that in the 5th inning. But the 5th inning was just one of those, what the heck happened there? And so he allowed 7 runs in the 5th inning. The Astros are now 21-27, so they're making forward progress. Just because they lose this game doesn't mean that they can't still win the series. But the 5th inning was just terrible, and I know everybody's like, well, why didn't Espada take him out in the 5th inning? Because he's your ace, and you expect him to go out there. You're like, well, he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He's a ground ball pitcher, and so he can't give up another 3-run homer, can he? Yes, he did. He had Shawno and Ohape get 3-run homers, and then Joe Adell had another 2-run homer, I believe. So the Astros were down 8-6 at the time. So they had a 6-1 lead, and then that was with the 7 runs in that inning. It was just crazy. I think that was just a solo home run. But, this is something that doesn't happen. The 8 runs allowed by Valdez ties his career high, which came in 7 innings against the Angels on September 6 in 2020. He did allow the 3 homers. That's the most he's ever allowed in a game. And that was in a matter of 6 batters. So just put that in perspective. What happened in today's game is an anomaly. Framber Valdez has, I was looking at his game logs before the show. He's pitched, this is his 7th game. And before this, against the Mariners, he allowed 5 runs. He allowed 2 home runs. That's the only time he's allowed home runs this year. So for him to allow 3 home runs in the same game, in the same inning, this is something so rare. And it's just something that's odd. And so when he loses bad. And it's like, he just loses it and loses control. And it honestly looked like batting practice. The one to Ohape was I think it was Ohape. It was a curveball, hanging curveball. The next one to Adele was a fastball, and it just looked like he was just kind of throwing it in there. And yes, he was hitting 99 miles per hour, 98 miles per hour, but he just didn't have his great stuff in that inning. And so sometimes your ace is going to struggle. But don't say, oh, Framber Valdez, he's washed up. In his last game against the A's, granted, it was the A's, 7 innings, no runs, 8 strikeouts. And the game before that against the Tigers, I know it's the Tigers, 7 innings, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts. So he's pitched some pretty good baseball since that Mariners game. And so I don't know if this is going to be routine. He's going to have 2 good games and then a bad game, 2 good games, a bad game. I don't know if that's going to be a routine. But I know a lot of people are like, why didn't Joe Espada get him out sooner? Who would have known this crap was going to happen? I think that they couldn't get up a reliever fast enough once they realized what was going on. And so I think that it just literally is 2 pitches in between home runs. You can't respond quick enough. And I guess you could say, well, in between the 3-run homers, you probably could have got up a reliever. You saw that he was struggling. He was struggling to get the outs. Yes, I guess you could say that. But it was 7 runs in the 5th inning. And after giving up the hits in the first inning to allow the 1 run to score, he did set down 9 in a row. But the 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, it just was not good. And his ERA right now is 4.32. So also the Astros have played 14 straight games. Their bullpen is short because of Ronel Blanco on the suspension list. So the bullpen's already short. You already had Seth Martinez being used in yesterday's game. And so Joe Espada knows the bullpen is on fumes. So he's trying to get as much as he can from his ace pitcher. And so he gambled, he lost. And then so I don't want to talk too much about what happened. I know that Framber Valdez, it sucked. Hopefully he can learn from this and figure out what happened. Was it mechanics? Was it just pitch selection? What happened in the sequence? But for some reason, when Framber Valdez is bad against the Angels take advantage. And who knew the Angels, who are a bad team, without Mike Trout, without Anthony Rendon, they're playing some pretty good baseball. And they had, 4 home runs in this game? And so I think it was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. And then Rafael Montero gave up a home run as well. And by that time, it was just like, okay, here's the white flag. We're done. Okay, we're done. But the Astros, to their credit, they weren't going to quit. In the 9th inning, they're trying to mount and come back. And after scoring 4 runs in the 2nd inning, 2 runs in the 4th inning, to get to a 6-1 lead, the offense is like, oh, we got this. Framber Valdez on the mound. And so no problemo, right? That was wrong. So this game is on Framber Valdez. And I'll give y'all some credit. It's a little bit on Joe Espada for maybe not taking Framber Valdez out sooner. But to Valdez's credit, he did settle down and finally get that 5th out. So if you're doing your prize picks, that would been your 5 times 3, 15 outs, pitching outs, which would probably have been way below what Prize Picks was offering. So if you did the over, you might have done good. But this game was just helter-skelter. It was just something that the Astros should have won, but unfortunately they did not. And so there were some good things that happened in this game. Jose Altuve, he did something he hasn't done all year. You had Mauricio Dubon basically hitting a bunt hit and then also pimping a home run. Yes, pimping a home run. That was pretty classic. So we'll talk about that in a second. Hey, guys, you have a product that you want to get out there. You want to get out on market, but making those cold calls and trying to find somebody to sell your product, that's the hardest thing to do. And so let me tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's an intelligent platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage in high value customers. You know why? Because everybody has a LinkedIn profile. That's right. 1 billion members platform. That's how many people are on LinkedIn. You are too. So you can find the right people to communicate with. Communication is the big key here. Sales Navigator gives you most up-to-date first-party data enabling tools to unlock conversations with the right people. So right now you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That is linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. You can also watch us on your Amazon Fire TV stick. That is right. Just go and search the free channels app, and you can go ahead and watch Brett and I doing the Locked On Astros podcast on your big screen TV. That's right. If you got a big projector, you can watch us there as well. So I know that Valdez is fresh on everybody's mind, and hopefully he recovers because the Astros aren't going anywhere without their big starters. Jose Urquidy, by the way, before we move on to Altuve, he's expected to make one more start. I believe it's going to be either Friday or Saturday with the Space Cowboys. So once he makes that start, he's likely to come back to the rotation. Like Brett and I were talking about yesterday, somebody's going to be out of rotation. So no, it's not going to be Framber Valdez, but it's going to be one of either Hunter Brown or it's going to be Spencer Arrighetti. Arrighetti put his best foot forward, and he showed that he should say, I'm not going to even count what happened in the 7th inning. He's a rookie. He was stretched out a little bit too far. But the hitters got to see maybe the third time around. But he's showing that he's the big leader. Hunter Brown looks like he might need to go back down. And speaking of going back down, Ronel Blanco actually had a start with the Space Cowboys, and some of the minor leaguers took him deep. So yeah, Trey Cabbage hit a home run off of Ronel Blanco, and Greg Kessinger also hit a home run off of Ronel Blanco. So he went 3 innings, about 50 pitches. So like we don't worry about Christian Javier, Justin Verlander, what Jose Urquidy's doing. It's more about just getting the work in. So let's not stress over Ronel Blanco giving up that. But he should be eligible to return back to the rotation. You ready for it? On Saturday. So that's good. That's good news there. So Jose Altuve, he's probably one of the Astros. He's been one of the Astros most consistent hitters all year. He's in the top of 3 or 4 in terms of hits, in terms of the major leagues. But he did something that he has not done all year. Before that home run today, he was batting .203, I believe, with 0 home runs and I think 9 RBIs, something crazy like that, with runners in scoring position. So he hit a 3-run homer today, and it was a bomb. When I say it was a bomb, it was a no-doubter. It was 105.1 miles per hour off the bat, 398 feet, 35 launch angle. That would have been a home run in any ballpark. So I think that that was great. I know it was really in his eyes, and a lot of people made fun about that. But actually, Jose Altuve is slugging .610 on elevated fastball since 2022 season. That's the 3rd best in MLB, and the league average is .430. So when Altuve sees something at his eyes, he loves to crush that ball. So I think that what Altuve is doing is he's setting the tone. Yeah, it wasn't a leadoff home run, but he still got the process going. And so I think that also Dubon, he had a home run. And earlier in the game, he had a hit that barely stayed fair, and everybody was making fun about him. And he's like, well, that's going to look like a line drive later on or something. But he crushed that ball. And sometimes when Dubon gets a hold of that ball, he can hit the home run like crazy. And on this one, where's the StatCast? I thought I just had it here. But I think I closed it, but it was, there it is. Dubon's was 98.4 exit velocity. Distance was 372 with a 32 launch angle to the Crawford boxes. So Altuve's was a little bit more majestic, but you don't expect it from Dubon. And Dubon was kind of doing a little pimping as he was walking around. I was blowing kisses to the dugout and everything. And then when he gets back, of course, Alvarez is like putting up his muscles, and they're trying to do the elbow bump or something. So I love the relationship those two guys. And speaking of Alvarez, he is hitting some line drives. He's getting some better hits recently. So hopefully he breaks out of it, because it looks like Bregman is starting to cool down a little bit. I think that maybe moving him up. I mean, he's been hitting okay recently, but I don't think it's going to really matter. But he's kind of coming back to earth a little bit. Jeremy Pena continues to hit well. Yainer Diaz is batting 8th. Coming into the season, could you have expected Yainer Diaz to be batting 8th? And then Dubon's batting 9th, and he had 3 hits. So Diaz had 2 hits. Dubon had 3 hits. So thankfully, those two guys were there, because they got 5 hits between them. So Tucker had he missed a couple of home runs. It looked like the Astros had him timed, but unfortunately, a lot of them were foul, or they fell a little bit short of the warning track. So I think that overall, there's some positives from the game. Like the Astros still got 10 hits. They scored 7 runs. Runners in scoring position, they were 4 for 10. That's 400. So that's impressive for a team that's kind of struggled at times. But you also had some stolen bases. Pena had a stolen base. Tucker had 2 stolen bases. And basically the second one for third base wasn't even challenged. And so I think that we saw some positives in this game. And so Ryan Presley came back. And so that's some good news. And the bullpen as a whole has been doing a lot better recently. And I know we've been talking about how bad the bullpen has been, especially the back end of the bullpen. Yes, they have been bad, but the bullpen has allowed 2 earned runs in 27 innings in the last 7 games. That's a 0.65 ERA. That's not including today's game. It's in May, the bullpen's ERA is 2.37, and the bullpen had a 4.90 ERA coming into May. So the bullpen is improving a little bit. Yes, you had an extra run score today with Montero giving up the home run, but overall, the bullpen is making some positive strides. Ryan Presley was out since last Tuesday, but he made his first appearance with a thumb issue, so it's good to see him back in there, and the fact that he didn't need an IL stint. And somebody said at least Presley didn't give up a run. Yes, that is true. So yes, I'm mad about this game, but at the same time, you can't do anything about a 7-run inning. You can get pissed off about it, but what good is it going to do? I mean, Valdez sucked in this game, but what is it going to do? I mean, I think that Espada could have taken him out earlier, but by the time it all happened, it happened so quickly. He didn't have time to respond. And I think as a rookie manager, he's going to have to learn, okay, this guy, he gave up this 3-run homer. Let's maybe get somebody warming up in the bullpen. And so, yes, in a way, this is on Espada. He should have done that. But I think that's going to come with time. He's going to have some of these implosions where, oh, crap, I should have taken out Hunter Brown. I should have taken out Valdez. I should have taken out Justin Verlander. But until he gets that kind of idea, we're going to see some more of these. And that's the problem with having a rookie manager on a team that you want to be going to the World Series. You're going to have crap games like this, and you can get pissed off and like that, or you can just be like, crap happens, just like Forrest Gump would say. I can't say the other word, but yeah, I'm upset about it. And I was watching a game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you crap? This is bull, you know what? But there's nothing I can say about it now. We all know what happened. So There's nothing more I can say about it. But we do know some players are coming back. And I do got to talk a little bit about Jose Abreu. He's coming back as well. So we'll talk about that in a second. Hey, Astros fans. The Astros are winning. And you know what's better than the Astros winning? How about you winning? So Prize Picks is the best little app out there. What you can do is before the game, you can go and lock in your picks. You have to pick at least 2 players. And if you go ahead and pick before today's game, Framber Valdez is going to pick. It's going to go ahead and have 18 pitching outs. And you go ahead and have like a player from another team hit 0.5 home runs, more or less with both situations, you could possibly win. But in this game, if you did the more on 18 pitching outs for Framber Valdez, you probably wouldn't have won. But that's the fun. It's fantasy baseball where you can actually win some money today. So go ahead and download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for the first deposit match up to $100. And I like to play it. You'll like to play it too, and go and check it out. Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and give us a big fat thumbs up. And if you're on the road, if you're heading out of town, like you're going to Florida to watch Jose Abreu, actually he's coming back to town. We'll talk about that in a second. But go and check out Sirius XM. You could catch all the play-by-play action. Just go ahead on your app. Just go and search Astros, and you can hear all the play-by-play action. And go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros postcast as well. And go and make sure you subscribe to us and make us your first listen every day. So I know a lot of people do not like this. Jose Abreu possibly coming back when John Singleton is playing good defense, playing better baseball. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and talk about some updates. Urquidy will pitch one more rehab game this weekend. Chas McCormick, he could be back as soon as tomorrow, mañana. So you could have somebody going down. I know that Brett thinks that Joey Loperfido is here to stay. So if that's the case, who would be going down? So there's some options up here that could go down, but typically it's the youngest player, and Loperfido would be the guy. So Jake Myers is playing great baseball, and I don't know who's going to be going down. So also you have Ronel Blanco. I already mentioned it. He's going to be coming back as soon as Saturday. That's when he's eligible to return. And he did pitch today to kind of set him up to come back on Saturday. So Joe Espada is going to have to make some interesting decisions. You have Blanco coming back. You have Chas McCormick coming back. And so Urquidy is going to be coming back at some point too. So there's going to be some interesting decisions on the horizon. And Joe Espada kind of confirmed what Dana Brown was saying on the pregame show and talking about yesterday, that Jose Abreu is likely coming back possibly as soon as this weekend versus the A's. And so a lot of people are like, no, why? The Astros are winning. Why would you bring Jose Abreu back? He is terrible. You should trade him. First of all, you can't trade him for anything right now. He has zero trade value, especially for how much money he's making. He's in his second year of a 3-year, $58.5 million contract. And I didn't realize how good a season he had last year. He batted .237 with 18 home runs and 90 RBIs. I guess those 90 RBIs kind of snuck up on me. But that was in 141 games this year. And Singleton has had a 702 OPS entering Monday's game with 4 home runs. So Singleton's been playing much better baseball. So the question is, why bring him up if Singleton's playing better and the Astros are playing better? And so Joe Espada says, well, he's actually looked really good. I saw all the video and reports from our coordinators. I like the changes he's made to his swing. His at-bats have also been pretty good, competitive, and hitting the ball hard. The plan is, if he clears the next couple of days, he'll play a few rehabs games. Like Dana said, if everything looks good, he'll join us this weekend. So he's probably going to play some games with the Space Cowboys. So we'll see what happens. And Espada says he has checked a lot of the boxes we want him to check. Number one, his swing decisions, his swing mechanics. He's hitting the ball really hard. He's moving very well, and he's been able to repeat that swing and every day, every at bat. So he looks being in a much better offensive position. Also, mentally, he's in much better position. That's another area that we just wanted him to clear his mind, and we feel that he's getting closer. So there's going to be a lot of decisions to be made over the next few days. So the question is, does Joey Loperfido survive all these moves? Because you're going to have to activate Jose Abreu, and you're going to have to also activate Chas McCormick. And why? This is what Espada says. I'm going to talk to Jose when he gets here. But I do want to say for us all to see the adjustments he's made and get him back going. He's going to have to play. If he agreed to go down there and make those adjustments, we're going to have to play him to get the results. So once he gets up here, we'll talk and we'll figure out the best way to help him to win games. With all the games we need to win, we need all hands on deck. And he thinks that Jose Abreu can be the same player he was last year. So you can't just hide him. I see a lot of comments in the chat about, well, just hide him in AAA. You can't do that. Once you go ahead and put him in rehab, you only have technically 20 days to bring him up. I think the Astros are only going to use 2 days of rehab, and that's pretty much all they're going to use. So in this situation, I think we're going to see with the Astros now 5 games behind the Mariners, because the Mariners did beat the Yankees today. And the Rangers were off today. So the Astros do have some business to do, but they did get some reinforcements as a minor league free agent. And everybody's like, who? I wouldn't get too excited. This is somebody that the Pirates had DFA'd. And so this is a 5-year vet. I don't know if he hasn't even pitched for the Pirates this year, but he has a career 4.30 ERA, 36 and 37. I'm talking about the great left-hander, which is Eric Lauer. And so he's how old is he? I think he's like 30 or something, but he's last time he pitched was with the Brewers back in 2023. He was 4-6 with a 6.56 ERA. That the season before, he was 11-7 with a 3.69 ERA with 29 starts that season. So he was a great starting pitcher. And he wasn't really a strikeout pitcher, kind of average a strikeout per inning, but he's a guy that the Astros could just kind of stash in the minor leagues for a little bit. If you need him, he's a veteran guy. And so I think that he's been kind of used as a reliever. He might be a starter. I don't know exactly too much details, but he's been signed by the Astros for $1.5 million, assuming he makes the teams, and that's prorated, of course. So he has opt-outs for July 1st and August 1st, according to sources. So, and that's from Ari Alexander. So, but he is just a depth option. So he's a left-hander, and so it's just another option in case they need it down the stretch, because you can never have enough pitching options. So he's not somebody I don't think he's gonna make an impact with the Astros, but if he does, he's just a veteran piece. So there's a lot that we can discuss, but I know a lot of people are still kind of mad about this game. But you're going to lose some games. And the Astros have been playing some good baseball recently. There's still some positive things. Framber Valdez had one bad inning. This is probably his worst start of his career. I know he's already allowed 8 runs before, but the way he did it, 7 runs in the 5th inning, 3 home runs. Basically, I want to say it was almost 6 or 7 hits in that inning. This is something that Framber Valdez does not do. He might allow a home run here, maybe a couple of innings later, a home run there. But if you're going to get him, it's with walks or with singles and doubles. You don't typically see what happened today. So I don't know if I'm overly concerned long-term about this Framber Valdez issue, but it does put a lot of pressure on tomorrow's starting pitcher to really go out there and handle a team that's not supposed to be this good. So who's on there on the mound? Christian Javier. And Christian Javier is coming off a pretty good rebound start where he had 8 strikeouts and dealt against the Brewers. And so he needs to do the same thing against the Angels. And it's going to be Griffin Cannon for the Angels. He's got 2-4 record with a 5.21 ERA. And Alvarez has hit a home run against him. Bregman has hit a home run, is batting .600. And Diaz has hit a home run, batting .333. And Dubon is batting .400 against Cannon. So who to watch out for Javier? Calhoun is Willie. I thought it was Willie. Willie Calhoun has 2 home runs off of Javier, and Kevin Pillar has a home run off of Javier as well. But most of the other hitters are struggling a little bit against Christian Javier. So tomorrow's game has got to be a little bit better pitched, and I think the Astros just need to get back to the basics. So Brett and I will be back tomorrow, and we'll hopefully have a better game to talk about. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Make sure you go and subscribe to us. Make this your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and we will see you tomorrow. And go Astros.